And I am back. Now, this is a brand that I have heard before. I'm not sure if I've actually been to their website or not. I know I've had a couple of questions from people asking me about New Directions. And let's see, Fiona is asking, she's the one that put the link in here, and Ashley's saying she would also like to know. So let's go ahead over here and take a peek at New Directions Aromatics. So let's take a look at the essential oils. And they also have synergy blends. That's good. So I'll take a peek at those after. Let me zoom in here. Hopefully I didn't zoom in too much. Alrighty, so let's go with the most popular. Why not? Eucalyptus. So it looks like they have different varieties available in different sizes. What I'm looking for is the safety information. So Eucalyptus polybractea. Now that's okay, so let me look up this one. So this is not your typical eucalyptus. But I'm confused here because this should be safe for all ages, and yet it's listed as having really high 1,8 cineol. So I'm going to have to double check my notes, but as far as I'm concerned, yeah, that there seems to be a little bit of a conflict. So let me go ahead and make myself a note here because I don't want to say it's a problem when it's not. But typically, the polybractea does not have that much 1,8 cineol, and it's supposed to be safe for all ages. So I will have to double check that to make sure. Let's see. Okay, for some reason they're saying avoid if you have high blood pressure. That's not really the case with essential oils. That's been debunked. Epilepsy is true. There are people that suffer from epilepsy that have issues with eucalyptus essential oil. For external use only. That could be the case with pretty much any essential oil. Dilute before use. This appears to be, at least most of this, a generic safety caution. I am not sure. So as we go through a few more of these, we can check out if that is a generic one or if they feel that's specific to the essential oil. So this is good. I'm glad to see that they have this stuff here. Safety data sheet isn't that big a deal. The certificate of analysis, quality and regulatory info, those aren't really a big deal what we're looking for, but the GCMS can be. This is what can tell us exactly what's in the essential oil. Oftentimes, if we aren't sure what the chemotype is for the essential oil, we can tell by what is showing up high in the GCMS report. And as we can see here, the 1,8 cineol is very high. It's actually really high. That's kind of, I would like to say it's unusually high even for a eucalyptus to be 90%. That is rather high. But we can see all the different chemical constituents that is in the essential oil because we know essential oils aren't just one thing. And as you can see here, there's lots of different things that are in just eucalyptus essential oil. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead. Oh, I see. You know what? I'm just going to click on some of these. I'm just going to click on some of these in here. So globulus, that's another one that's high in 1,8 cineol as well. So this is 60%. So what I'm not seeing here though is avoid using around children under the age of 10. That is something that I like to see on a eucalyptus profile, which is typically why I will check it out because I like seeing if they have that as flagged or not. Fennel is something I don't recommend that anybody use because it has so many safety issues. Okay, so avoid if pregnant. So let me just go over here. I just want to make sure that I'm reading all of this correctly for you guys. Okay, so fennel. Alrighty, so let me just make sure the botanical name. Okay, so both bitter and sweet fennels are going to have the same botanical name. Avoid if pregnant is true. No matter if it's the fennel or if it's the bitter or the sweet fennel, they are both not recommended during pregnancy. The There's no phototoxic properties in fennel, so that's interesting. No, this oil is not going to form crystals during transit or storage. That is not going to happen. And I'm not seeing anything here about potentially carcinogenic. I'm not seeing anything here about anticoagulant. It is a reproductive hormone modulator, and other issues, and it also has a very low topical max. So that's not what I'm seeing here. Let's take a look at the GCMS report, just out of curiosity, to see what's in here. So anethol, estragol. See, this is the issue with fennel as well. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see. Okay, so they have sweet and bitter. So sweet is the one that has the most safety issues. This is the one that I need to see with all of those safety issues. Yeah, that's strange. It's not phototoxic. It does not form crystals during storage. That is really interesting. So I'm really not seeing the stuff that I want to see here. Let's see what else they have that should have safety issues. Garlic. Ooh, that's very anticoagulant. This would be great as, if you have a blood clot, because it's anticoagulant, so it will thin the blood. I'm not seeing anything about that here. Let's see grapefruit, if they mention that this is phototoxic. Let's see. Yes, it is. It doesn't tell you how much, though. This is, if you don't dilute to 4%, then it's phototoxic. I like to see specifics on here. Hyssop. Let's see which one. Yeah, there's so many hyssops. Let's see if I can tell what one this one is, if it gives a chemotype or not. Okay, so I am not seeing a chemotype here. Let's see if it mentions it on the GCMS report. The chemotype is really important because it can distinguish between the safety, whereas the linalool hyssop is going to be safe for all ages, but the pianocampheine, which tends to be the most common one, see, pianocampheine, pianocampone, that's saying, this is the one, this looks like it is the one that's high, yeah, because look at 36% pianocampone is what they're calling it. Okay, so if this was a linalool chemotype, we would be seeing a whole lot more linalool in here. So this is one good thing about having a GCMS report available, is I was able to determine that this is the pianocampheine chemotype based on looking at the GCMS report and seeing the constituent or constituents that are higher than average. If this had significant amounts of linalool, then we would say this would be the linalool chemotype. So this is the one that I personally recommend that people avoid completely. Extremely low topical max. It's neurotoxic and carcinogenic. Okay. So let's take a look at some other ones. Yeah, and I'm not seeing any of that shown here for you guys. So you wouldn't know this if you didn't have your own safety, access to safety information. So let's see another one. Yeah, there's a few here that, yeah, mace. There's a few essential oils here that I just recommend people avoid. Now, myrrh, let's see which one. Myrrh essential oil varieties. This is not recommended during pregnancy, so myrrh is not pregnancy safe. So let's see if they mention that. So they're not mentioning that here. They are saying dilute for external use only. Contact with eyes should be avoided. Skin irritation. That's a generic thing that a lot of people put in a lot of things, but is not specific to myrrh. That is not specific to myrrh. Nutmeg, potentially psychotropic. So at least they threw this in here. If used in large amounts, nutmeg essential oil can cause toxic symptoms such as nausea and tachycardia. Yeah, that's just the beginning. This is has a lot of safety issues. Let's see what else. Oregano also has a lot of safety issues, including it is blood thinning. And I'm not even seeing that here. So I'm not seeing any specific ages. I'm not seeing pregnancy information specifically, like this is pregnancy safe and this isn't. I'm not seeing, eucalyptus should be ages 10 plus. Like, I'm not seeing any of this. Yeah, sage, there's issues with sage, there's issues with rue. There's quite a few essential oils here that there are safety issues for. So when I look at a website and I'm seeing that there's a bunch of essential oils on here that are just not safe, and there's not at least the safety information on the website so that if you have sage and nutmeg and fennel mixed all in with lavender and tea tree and lemon and all of these other ones that we know are safe, and it doesn't have, safety warnings on the ones that have a lot of restrictions for use, you aren't going to know that. A person coming to a website and seeing the same generic cautions is not going to take it very seriously. So that's just my opinion on the information that should be available on a website. So let's take a look at the Synergy blends and see how they do on their formulations. Okay, so we have there's two. Okay, no, that's most popular. So let's take a look at the Aphrodisiac blend to see. Coriander, juniper berry, orange, palmarosa, geranium, cardamom, patchouli. That's not too bad. Let's see. I'm surprised they don't have ylang-ylang in here. 3 to 5% dilution for topical applications. So they're not even telling you to inhale it because that's going to be the most effective way to use. And a few drops to a bubble bath, but no mention of using a carrier. What kind of technical documents would they have here? So there wouldn't be a GCMS report. You won't find GCMS reports for a blend because that is going to be a whole number of constituents that are going to be available, and you aren't going to, it's just going to be a blend of constituents from a bunch of different essential oils. So that's not really going to be helpful to anybody to even have a GCMS report for that. Let's see about immunity. Now, as I mentioned before, essential oils don't actually help boost the immune system. You want to look to herbs for that, but what they can do is help kill germs. So orange, lemon, tea tree, rosemary, frankincense, and eucalyptus. Not too bad on killing germs. I would definitely tweak this. Rosemary, so this would be a blend for ages 10 and above due to the eucalyptus and the rosemary. Potentially phototoxic due to the lemon. Interesting, I would not apply this topically. I would diffuse this to help kill the germs in the air. Let's see, mental clarity. Grapefruit, bergamot, basil, and lemon. That's probably fine. Again, I would not apply these topically. I would diffuse them or use a personal inhaler. Let's see if there's analgesic essential oils in their pain blend. Peppermint, clove, wintergreen, and helichrysum. So this actually would be a really good pain blend. However, there are quite a few different safety issues here, and I'm not seeing anything flagged here. So if you were to purchase this blend, the Pain Relief Synergy blend, if you were to purchase this blend, you should know that this is a blend for ages 10 and above. You should know that both clove and wintergreen are anticoagulant. And, oh my gosh, I mean, there's just so many safety issues between clove and wintergreen. Peppermint is, if you have GERD, there's a drug interaction as well. You want to be careful with that. Clove essential oil has a really low topical max. I mean, even wintergreen has a low topical max, but clove essential oil has a 0.5% topical max. I don't know if they are even aware of that because I'm not seeing when I go over. Let me just go over to clove because I have not actually gone over to clove. But I have not seen any specific topical max recommendations for any of their essential oils. So if I am not seeing any topical max specific numbers on their website, then how do I know that they are aware that it has a topical max and that they are being careful of that when they're creating their blends? I don't know that. So there's no information here indicating that this is supposed to be to 0.5%. They may understand that. I don't know that. But just judging by the information that's available on the website, to me personally, I don't feel as if that they have a very good hold on safety. Now, that does not mean that they don't have good essential oils. That does not mean that at all. The essential oils could be just as fine as other brands. It could be the highest of quality essential oils, but what this tells me is that I would need to have a resource for safety information apart from the website. And that is common. You will find a lot of companies don't have safety information available on their website. And I'm fine with that. Like, I personally don't mind it because I know the safety. You know, I have a lot memorized, as you can imagine. I also have references that I use. This is one of my books you can find at uboslibrary.com. But for the average person going to a website and really not having any idea at all, you don't know what you don't know. So when you are going to a website, you don't see this is phototoxic, this shouldn't be used with kids, this shouldn't be used if pregnant, this shouldn't be used at all, this can thin your blood, this has drug interactions, this is potentially carcinogenic. If you don't know that, you are going to be purchasing these essential oils only reading what they're good for, and you could be hurting yourself or your kids just by not understanding that and not knowing that information. So, all right, so I guess that ends my review for New Directions. If you have any questions about anything that I've said, if you want me to check out the safety profile of any of the essential oils that I didn't actually click through on, or if there's any blends here that I didn't look at that you want me to review to see if it's going to be effective and then what the safety is, because there's nothing here for safety on those profiles, just leave me a comment below and I can check that out for you. I'm going to go ahead and upload this to YouTube, and then I'll be back to review the next brand that you requested for me to do. So I'll see you in a few minutes.